everybody, welcome back to Movies and That. I'm your host Cody, and today we're going to talk about what I think is the scariest Halloween movie in the franchise. So this is just my opinion. I'm not speaking for everybody here. And, I don't want to say scariest because, none of these movies really, scare me, I want to say. But definitely, make me feel a little uneasy, unsettling, creeped out, should I say. I do feel like one of these movies in particular does have that factor for me still. So whenever I first started watching the Halloween franchise, of course the first one, right, from a young age, that one did genuinely scare me a bit. Now it got me obsessed with Michael Myers and the lore and wanting to see more, but I was creeped out by the score, by Michael stalking and hiding in the dark of those houses, and the Wallace house and the Doyle house, and, just the way he looked and all of that. But as time went on, I kind of got more, I guess, used to it and, even excited to really watch it. It wasn't until Halloween 6 a few years later that really it was the one that scared me. Gave me nightmares, almost completely ruined my love for horror and Halloween overall. And that was just mainly because of Myers, the way he looked, his presence, how intimidating he was, the violence in that movie too, and the cinematography as well. But even that movie has kind of grown on me a bit where I don't really have that same feeling anymore. Now, the one that still does to this day is Halloween 2. So Halloween 2, I mean, you can say what you want about it, kind of the weaker script and I guess the Myers mask looking off and, the part of this setting, being in the hospital and that. But there's three main reasons why this movie, to this day, always creeps me out. And every time I'm watching it, usually on Halloween night, I'm in the dark, I'm alone, sometimes, and my wife's not watching with me. And I get a little uneasy with it. And like I said, three things here. And that's the score, Myers himself, and the setting. So let's talk about the score first. So if you're familiar with the scores of the Halloween franchise, specifically Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, they are the same score for the most part. The difference between Halloween 1 and Halloween 2 is John Carpenter and Alan Howarth synthesized that score and added in some different sound effects like some chimes and whatnot. And that really amps up that original score a lot. And, some of it, especially like the main Halloween theme, feels a little more aggressive. And then just as you go through the list, like Laurie's theme, I think one of them is called Still He Kills, Mrs. Alves, Laurie and Jimmy, Flats in the Parking Lot. Those tracks from the soundtrack, they are extremely creepy. So, to me at least. So you're adding in that score with the setting. So the setting of the movie, it is confined mainly through the second and third act in a hospital. A dark and desolate hospital running on a skeleton crew. And you got Myers going up and down the hallways by himself, looking for Laurie, and it is just very unsettling. When I'm watching that movie, listening to that score, taking in the atmosphere of the movie, the setting, and it definitely, like I said, I don't want to say it scares me, but it creeps me out. And then that's where we get to Michael Myers. So I've heard a couple different descriptions of Myers in Halloween 2. Both of them which I agree with. One is Zombie Myers and the other is Terminator Myers. And both of them make complete, absolute sense to me because for Zombie Myers, this technically is the first movie where Myers is, I guess, dead. You know, say what you want, Loomis pretty much killed him at the end of Halloween 1. No, he didn't, because he got up and walked away, right? I mean, Loomis shot him 6 times, fell off the balcony, got up and walked away. So you can say, yeah, he survived that, but like Myers said, or not Myers, like Loomis said, this isn't a man. You know, a man's not going to survive 6 shots to the chest and get up and walk away like nothing happened. So, in my opinion, Myers didn't survive that. He died, came back to life because of the evil, his possession, I guess. We can, since this is tied to the first 5 Myers movies, Halloween 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, he's possessed by the Cult of Thorn, right? So it makes sense. He dies, but he gets back up to continue on because evil never dies. And Thorn's not going to let him die. So that's where Zombie Myers comes into play. And you can kind of even see that because for the most part, his whole walk has changed, his movements, and he does look more dead, I guess. You know, like, doesn't look like how he was walking around in the first Halloween, and his mannerisms and even his speed in the first movie. The second movie is much more slowed down. So yeah, Zombie Myers, I think, fits. So right there, that's kind of creepy in itself. But Terminator Myers, yes, he is like laser focused on his goal of he's killing Lori. He's going to kill her somehow. He's going to find her. He's going to get her. And that's what he does. That whole first act of the movie, he kind of, after he got shot, he kind of fell back, retreated, regrouped himself, made a couple kills, got himself to the hospital, systematically took out the security guard, shut down the power, took out the phones, flattened tires, screwed up the engines and cars this way so nobody can leave, nobody can call for help. He knows Lori's there and he's going to get her. And just the way he is walking up and down those hallways, he's on a mission, he looks creepy, matched with that score that we get in that setting, that hospital setting. And last but not least here, the kills that he does. I think we get some pretty creepy kills with the needle, the syringe, right, going into the temple. So he's comes up behind in the dark. You see his mask come out from the shadows, and then boom, right there with the needle into forget. I think it's Nurse Janet or Alice. It's one of the two. I forget, but it's one of the nurses. He kills in that way. And then the therapy tub scene with Bud and is that Janet? I think that one might be Nurse Janet. I forget. But anyways, him coming and killing her in the shots that we get. So like whenever the camera pans out and you see Myers dunking her into the tub, and just the way he looks, like it's just like there's something about it. It's like a completely, I don't want to say different looking Myers than we've ever seen, you know, throughout the franchise, but something about it, he just looks very intimidating while he's doing that. And even before that, like whenever she first like turns around and sees him and you look at the mask, like that looks scary. That looks creepy. His face, his mask, whenever she turns around, you see that. And then him just walking down the halls with his scalpel. Like, you know, those scenes, those images of him doing that, like that is creepy. And again, that score is what really drives it home for me. If they didn't do that score the way they did it, I'm not sure this would be the creepiest Halloween for me or the scariest Halloween for me. I'm not sure it would be. But the score has a lot to do with it. And then, of course, the Myers we get and the setting that he's in all kind of puts it perfectly together for me. That's why every time I watch it each year, it is always the one that makes me feel a little uneasy. So that's it, guys. That's my thoughts there on what the scariest Halloween is. Comment down below. Let me know what's yours. And thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, please like it, share, and subscribe to my channel for more. So thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.